This video is about the mom got lost at the airport lounge and a millionaire held the door for her. If this story touches your heart, please mention where you are watching from in the comments. Please like the video and share your thoughts in comments. The constant hum of chatter and the distant whir of luggage carts filled the air as Emily Parker stepped into the airport lounge, clutching her well-worn leather bag tightly. She had always found comfort in the little things, the smell of freshly brewed coffee, the smooth texture of her favorite book in her hands. But today was different. The nerves danced in her stomach like butterflies preparing for flight. A late flight had turned into a delayed nightmare, and after navigating through the chaotic terminal with a 7-year-old son, Oliver, she had finally made it to the haven of the lounge, a sanctuary she often sought out during their travels. Emily was still reeling from the unexpected hours spent at security, the irritation of other travelers tugging at her patience. "Mom, can I have a snack?" Oliver asked, his small voice pulling her back to reality. "Of course, sweetheart," she replied, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "Let us find something." As they walked further into the lounge, the plush chairs and soft lighting enveloped them like a warm embrace. Emily felt herself relax slightly, the chaos of the terminal fading into the background. She glanced over at Oliver, who was engrossed in watching a group of teenagers animatedly play a game on their phones. "Just a minute, okay?" she said, making her way toward the snack bar. The lounge offered a variety of treats, but she was keen on finding something healthy, something that would keep Oliver's energy up for the remainder of their journey. "Can I get chips?" he called after her, his eyes sparkling with mischief. "Only if you promise to share," she teased back, smiling at him over her shoulder. As Emily approached the self-serve counter, her heart sank slightly when she spotted the line of travelers shuffling before her. She shifted her weight from one foot to the other, casting an anxious glance at her watch. They had only a short window before their flight was set to board. A fleeting moment caught her eye. A tall figure stepped into her line of vision, casting a shadow that momentarily blocked the overhead lights. She looked up to see a strikingly handsome man, impeccably dressed in a tailored navy suit, holding the door to the lounge wide open. "After you," he said, his voice smooth and deep, his eyes a piercing blue that seemed to hold a world of secrets. "Oh, thank you," Emily stammered, momentarily lost in his gaze. There was something magnetic about him, a certain confidence that made her heart race. She could feel a slight blush creeping up her cheeks as she stepped through the doorway, her instincts telling her to look away but her curiosity urging her to linger. As she moved past him, she caught a whiff of his cologne, something fresh and subtly musky that sent her thoughts spiraling. She quickly turned back to Oliver, who was now engrossed in a game with the teens, blissfully unaware of the subtle tension thrumming in the air around her. "Mom, come look," Oliver shouted excitedly, interrupting her thoughts. "Just a second," she called back, her mind still caught in the magnetic pull of the stranger. "Are you traveling alone?" the man asked, now standing beside her, his tone casual yet somehow intimate, as if they were sharing an inside joke. "No, with my son," she replied, gesturing toward Oliver. "He is just busy right now." Emily felt a twinge of self-consciousness, wondering if she looked too frazzled for someone who had just been held at the door by a man who clearly belonged in a world of luxury. "I am James," he introduced himself, extending a hand. The warmth of his grip sent a small jolt through her. "And you are?" "Emily, nice to meet you." She took a step back, trying to gather her thoughts as a mix of excitement and nervousness flooded her senses. "We were on our way to visit family. What about you?" "I am heading to a conference," he replied, glancing at Oliver, who was now jumping up and down, trying to get her attention. "Looks like you have a little explorer on your hands." He has a handful," Emily said, laughing lightly. "But a great traveler, for the most part." Their conversation flowed easily, and as they exchanged stories, Emily found herself drawn to his charm. He seemed genuinely interested, asking questions that allowed her to share bits and pieces of her life. There was a comfort in their connection that she hadn't felt in a long time. "I have to admit," James said, his voice lowering slightly, "I was hoping for a more exciting way to spend my time at the airport. This is a pleasant surprise." Emily's heart raced as she caught the flirtatious glimmer in his eyes. "You must travel a lot then," she replied, biting her lip, trying to suppress a smile. "Too often," he said, his expression turning contemplative. "I guess I've grown used to the routine. It is the people who can make all the difference." She felt a flutter of warmth at his words. There was something genuine about him, something rare. But just as quickly as the moment blossomed, a pang of insecurity washed over her. She was just a single mother, and he was a millionaire. What could she possibly offer him beyond a moment of escape from his world? "Mom, look!" Oliver shouted again, bursting with excitement as he approached them, 2 packets of chips in hand, his small face beaming. "Nice choices," Emily said, kneeling to meet his eye level. "Did you ask for those?" "I didn't, but I can share," he said earnestly, offering one of the bags to James. Typically, Emily would have disapproved of this spontaneous snack acquisition, but she couldn't help but laugh at her son's unfiltered exuberance. "Oliver, you can just take things without asking?" "I am sure that's fine," James interjected, chuckling. "I'll take the offer if it includes a chance to bond over snacks." Emily raised an eyebrow at him, amusement flickering in her eyes. "You're not worried about your image as a businessman, sharing chips with a kid?" "Are you kidding? This might actually improve my image," he quipped, his smile wide and infectious. People love to see a man enjoying simple pleasures. The playful banter lifted her spirits, and for a brief moment she didn't feel the weight of her worries pressing down on her. They talked about their favorite snacks, childhood memories, and even their shared love for travel. Each word between them felt charged, igniting a spark that left her breathless. But as Emily glanced down at Oliver, her heart sank. The realization hit her like a cold wave. They were running out of time. "Oh no, we need to check the board," she exclaimed, suddenly panicking as she fumbled for her phone. "Let me help," James said, stepping closer, their shoulders almost brushing. The warmth of him was intoxicating. "Mom, can we stay?" Oliver whined, looking between them with wide eyes. "He has fun." "I know, but we really need to go," she replied gently, though her heart felt heavy at the thought of leaving this connection behind. She quickly scanned the departure board, her stomach nodding further when she spotted their flight number blinking in red, indicating a last call. "Let me accompany you," James offered, his voice smooth and reassuring. "I can help you with your bags." Before she could protest, he had already taken hold of her suitcase, seamlessly sliding it across the polished floor. Emily hesitated, torn between gratitude and a flicker of doubt. It felt too intimate, yet the thrill of his presence was undeniable. "Thank you, but I can manage," she started, but the urgency in his eyes silenced her. "Please, let me," he insisted, flashing that disarming smile again. And just like that, they were in motion, the trio weaving through the bustling terminal together. As they walked side by side, Emily felt a mix of emotions swirling inside her. The thrill of meeting someone intriguing clashed with her responsibilities as a mother, and she wondered how this chance encounter would end. "Do you travel often with just Oliver?" James asked the question, drawing her focus back to him. "Not as much as I do like," she replied, feeling her heart race again. "I work full-time, and it has just been easier for us to make occasional trips to visit family. My parents are always thrilled to see me," he said, laughter dancing in his voice. "Even if I am only home for a day." Emily found herself envying his lifestyle, the freedom and adventure his wealth afforded him. Yet she also felt a surge of pride for her own journey, one that, though filled with challenges, had shaped her into the person she was today. Just as they reached the gate, Oliver tugged at her sleeve. "Mom, can we get a picture with him?" Emily's breath caught in her throat, surprised by the request. "Oliver, we should really." "Please." He looked up at her, his big brown eyes shining with hope. "All right," she relented, caught off guard by the sudden warmth blooming in her chest. James was already smiling, clearly charmed by her son's enthusiasm. As they posed together, James crouched down beside Oliver, his demeanor shifting into that. Part 2, The Millionaire and the Mother ***. Emily's heart danced nervously as she brought her phone closer, Oliver bouncing excitedly between them. James, his face lit with an easy smile, leaned in, his presence both comforting and electrifying. "Say snack time," James suggested, his voice a playful whisper, and at that moment Emily felt the weight of her world ease. "Snack time," Oliver shouted, his laughter filling the air. Emily pressed the button and captured the moment, 3 smiles radiating joy against the backdrop of a busy airport. A part of her wanted to linger, to relish in the warmth of this unexpected encounter, but reality crashed in when she glanced at her watch again. "Oliver, we really need to head to the gate," she said, trying to hide her disappointment. James stood up, brushing his hands on his trousers, an expression of mock seriousness crossing his face. "You're right, it may not be an actual snack, but I wouldn't want your flight to get lost in the excitement of chips and new friend." Emily chuckled, appreciating his playful nature, but her heart sank. "I can thank you enough for your help. You really didn't have to." The words slipped out, tinted with an undertone of regret. "Let us not make a habit of saying goodbye just yet," he replied, a hint of mischief in his eyes. I might just have to find you in the sky if you keep this up. His flirtation sent a wave of warmth through her, but Emily resisted the pull of her heart. You have a conference to get to, she reminded him, suddenly feeling self-conscious. And I am just a mom, traveling with too many snacks and too little time. And you're a wonderful mom, he said softly, catching her gaze with an intensity that made her cheeks flush. I admire that. Emily felt a flutter of disbelief at his words, not knowing how to respond. Just as she opened her mouth to say something, Oliver interrupted. Can we keep him, Mom? James laughed, the sound rich and deep. I'd love to stay, but I think I might be a little too big to fit in your suitcase. Not if you fold up, Oliver suggested, and James winked at him, clearly delighted. Ah, the wisdom of a child, he said, ruffling Oliver's hair. Emily watched, her heart swelling at the sight of this man making her son laugh. All right, buddy, she said, nudging Oliver gently. We really have to go now. James stepped back, the easy charm fading into a more serious demeanor. I hope everything goes smoothly for you both. Safe travels. His eyes softened, holding his for a lingering moment that felt weighted with unspoken words. Thank you, James, she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. It felt like more than a farewell. It was an unacknowledged promise of something that could be been. As they walked away, Emily felt Oliver tugging her hand. Mom, are you sad? No, sweetheart, she replied, forcing a cheerful tone that didn't quite reach her heart. Just a little overwhelmed. By the fun? Oliver asked, his innocent curiosity piercing straight through her. Exactly, she said, trying to shake off the melancholy. The brief encounter with James had ignited something inside her that she hadn't felt in years, an excitement, a thrill. It was intoxicating. The flight was packed, the cramped seats making it challenging to settle in. As Emily buckled Oliver in, thoughts of James flickered through her mind. What kind of life did he lead? Did he ever get lonely, surrounded by wealth but lacking genuine connection? Look, Mom, Klaus, Oliver exclaimed, pointing out the window. His exuberance was infectious, drawing her back to the present. They were beautiful, aren't they? She said, settling into her seat beside him. They both watched as the plane soared higher, the ground disappearing beneath a blanket of clouds. Oliver's eyes sparkled as he pressed his face to the window, and Emily couldn't help but smile, a heart warming at his innocent joy. But just as quickly, her thoughts drifted back to James. The way he had looked at her, the playful banter, had felt like they were both walking a line between two worlds. The world of professionalism and suits, and the world of laughter and simple joys. Hours later, after the flight attendants had served snacks, definitely not the fun chips Oliver had wanted, Emily found herself wrestling with her thoughts. Was it foolish to entertain the idea of someone like James? Mom, can we go to the park when we get there? Oliver's voice broke through her reverie. Of course we can, she replied, ruffling his hair affectionately. We can have a picnic, just us. Just us? Oliver echoed, his little face lighting up, and for a moment, that spark of joy chased away her lingering thoughts of James. As the plane touched down, the thrill of the new destination surged through Emily. The airport felt different, the air thicker with the sense of unfamiliar restaurants and the hum of different languages. The moment they stepped off the plane, she took a deep breath, excitement tingling in her fingertips. But as they navigated through the terminal, her phone buzzed in her pocket. She pulled it out, her heart racing when she saw a message from an unknown number. Hi, Emily, this is James. It was lovely to meet you today. Hope you made it safely. Her heart thudded in her chest, a mix of surprise and warmth flooding through her. She glanced at Oliver, who was tugging at her hand, eager to explore. Everything okay, Mom? Yeah, sweetheart, she replied, her voice steady despite the fluttering in her stomach. Just a message from a friend. Can we go? Oliver urged, his excitement infectious. Let me reply quickly, she said, her fingers hovering over the screen, contemplating how to respond. Hi, James, thank you so much. We were just getting settled. How is your conference? She hit send, feeling a rush of exhilaration. It was only a text, a simple exchange, but it felt like a thread connecting them across the miles. As they exited the terminal into the warm, sunlit air, her phone buzzed again. Busy with meetings, but your message made me smile. Enjoy your time. Emily felt a warmth spread through her. Mom, look. Oliver called, pointing to a park across the street. Can we go there? Absolutely, she said, feeling lighter. The park was vibrant, bursting with families enjoying picnics and children laughing. As they strolled through, Emily felt a sense of peace wash over her. This was her world, a world where she could find comfort in simplicity. Minutes later, they settled on a blanket under a sprawling oak tree. The sun cast dappled shadows around them, and Emily couldn't help but feel gratitude for moments like these. "Can we eat now?" Oliver asked, rummaging through the bag. "Yes, but let us make it a surprise picnic," she suggested, pulling out various snacks. He clapped his hands, his face a picture of delight as they laid out their meal. But even as they enjoyed their time together, her phone buzzed again, pulling her thoughts back to James. "Thinking of you and hoping you re-enjoying your time. Can't wait to hear about it." The words sent a ripple of excitement through her. She had known him for only a brief moment, yet here he was, weaving his way into her thoughts. "Mom, why do you keep smiling at your phone?" Oliver asked, tilting his head, curiosity shining in his eyes. "Oh, it is just a friend," she said, trying to keep it light. "Are you going to see him again?" he pressed, and the innocence of his question made her laugh. "Maybe one day," she said, heart racing at the thought. "But for now, we're here and that's what matters." As the sun sank lower in the sky, painting the world in hues of gold and pink, Emily felt a sense of contentment settling in. Yet somewhere in her heart, a flicker of longing remained, not just for the thrilling possibility that was James, but for the connection she had felt so effortlessly. In that moment, under the sprawling branches of the oak tree, Emily knew she was beginning to navigate newfound feelings, curiosity pulling her forward. The thrill of the unknown awaited her, and somewhere, perhaps across the miles, James was thinking of her too. Emily Parker couldn't shake the feeling of warmth that lingered from her brief encounter with James. As she and Oliver strolled through the park, the sun dipping low in the sky, she felt a mix of emotions swirling within her: excitement, curiosity, and an underlying sense of doubt. "Mom, can we play tag?" Oliver shouted, breaking through her thoughts. His eyes sparkled with uncontainable energy, and Emily couldn't help but smile at his enthusiasm. "Sure, but let us take it easy, okay? We've been traveling all day," she replied, kneeling to tie his shoelaces and catching a glimpse of the fading sunlight illuminating his face. "Okay, but I am still going to win," he declared, darting off before she could even respond. Laughter erupted from him as he zigzagged through the park, chasing after other children who had joined in the game. Emily watched his carefree spirit, her heart swelling with pride and love. Yet, as she still felt that flicker of warmth from James's gaze, she found herself torn between her responsibilities as a mother and the thrill of an unexpected connection. Her phone buzzed again, and she quickly pulled it out, hoping to see James's name. "Hey, Emily, how's your adventure so far?" Her fingers hovered over the screen, contemplating her response. Should she share every detail of their day, including the excitement of Oliver's laughter and the golden glow of the setting sun? Would he care about the way the breeze felt against her skin, or the way she felt when she saw Oliver's delight? "Hi, James, it's been wonderful. We just got to the park, and Oliver is running around like a wild child," she quickly typed, smiling at the thought of him reading her words. "Wild child? Sounds like he is having the time of his life. I envy you both," he replied almost instantly. "I am stuck in meetings, but I am thinking of finding a way to escape. A little fresh air never hurt anyone." "Wish you could join us. It's beautiful out here," she replied, feeling a mixture of longing and amusement at the idea of him playing tag with Oliver. "Is that an invitation?" came his reply, teasing yet full of promise. Emily bit her lip, her heart racing at the thought. "Maybe if you re-up for some friendly competition, just don't let my 7-year-old win." The thought made her chuckle, but her delight was tinged with uncertainty. What was she doing? Did she actually want to entertain this flirtation with James? Her phone buzzed again, interrupting her thoughts. "I'll take my chances. Send my regards to the wild child, and I hope to see you both soon." Emily felt a rush of excitement wash over her. Those words felt like an unspoken bond, a connection that spanned across distance. But just as quickly, the voice of doubt crept in. What could a man like James want with her? A single mother with an adventurous spirit, but a life full of challenges. "Mom," Oliver called, returning to her side out of breath, cheeks flushed with excitement. "Did you see me? I tagged Ethan." "I did. I am so proud of you," she exclaimed, her heart swelling with joy at the sight of him. "You were the fastest runner in the whole park." He beamed, the pride shining in his eyes like stars on a clear night. "Can we get ice cream now? I am super thirsty." "Absolutely. What flavor do you want?" she asked, ruffling his hair as they made their way toward the ice cream stand. "Chocolate, no, strawberry, or maybe both," he pondered aloud, his small face scrunching up in deep thought. "How about we get 1 scoop of each?" she suggested, secretly hoping to keep this sugar rush to a minimum. "We can share." Okay, he agreed enthusiastically, and as they approached the stand, Emily felt the warmth of the day wrapping around her like a soft blanket. Yet her mind drifted back to James again, the way he had held the door for her and how his cologne lingered in her memory. The elusive nature of their connection left her questioning her own feelings. Was it merely a fleeting moment fueled by the excitement of an unexpected meeting, or was there something more substantial waiting to unfold? They ordered their ice cream, and as they sat on a bench under the sprawling branches of another oak tree, Oliver dabbed in with gusto. "This is the best, Mom," he exclaimed, his eyes sparkling with wonder. "I am glad you like it, Oliver," she said, stealing a bite from his cup and relishing in the sweetness. "But remember, sharing is caring." Bouquet, just one more bite," he laughed, and they both leaned into the moment, the laughter bubbling between them. "Mom," he said suddenly, his expression shifting to one of curiosity. "Are you going to marry James?" The question took Emily by surprise, and she nearly dropped her ice cream. "What, Oliver? We just met him today," she said, trying to keep her tone light while battling the flush creeping into her cheeks. "But you were smiling a lot, and he was nice to us." Oliver protested, his innocence making her heart ache. "Just because someone is nice doesn't mean we're getting married," she explained gently, trying to navigate the unexpected topic. "People can be friends, you know." "But he acts like a cool friend, with a cool suit," Oliver insisted, barely managing to contain his enthusiasm. "And he likes snacks." Emily chuckled despite herself, imagining James in his tailored suit, crouching down to share snacks with a 7-year-old. "He does, doesn't he?" she said, feeling a warmth spread through her as she thought of his infectious laughter. "Can we still be friends with him?" Oliver asked, his eyes wide with hope. "Maybe, but it is complicated," she murmured, glancing at her phone. She felt a strange mix of fear and excitement at the idea of opening herself up to someone again. People have lives, and sometimes they're just passing through. "Like the clouds?" Oliver suggested, pointing to the sky, where fluffy white clouds drifted lazily by. "Exactly. Just like the clouds," she replied, feeling a sense of uncertainty wash over her. "But we can enjoy the moments while they last, right?" "Right," Oliver said, grinning. "And we can always tell him we refriend." Emily smiled, her heart filling with love for her son. That is the spirit, friends are important. As they finished their ice cream, Emily's phone buzzed again, another message from James lighting up the screen. "Just finished my meeting. I'd love to grab dinner tomorrow if you and the wild child are up for it." Her heart raced at the thought, her mind swelling with possibilities. "Dinner?" she whispered, the weight of the decision pressing down on her. Was she ready for that? "Mom, what is wrong?" Oliver asked, tilting his head in concern. "Nothing, just a friend wants to meet up tomorrow," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "And I don't know if I should do it. He has fun and he can bring snacks," Oliver said, his enthusiasm infectious. Emily couldn't help but laugh, her heart warming at his innocent conviction. "You're right, buddy, fun is good." As they packed up to leave the park, Emily's thoughts churned. She was trying to reason with herself, was it too soon to entertain the idea of opening her heart again? Yet, there was something undeniably magnetic about James. Each message, each interaction felt like a thread weaving a stronger bond between them. That night, as Emily tucked Oliver into bed, she felt a flutter of anticipation mixed with uncertainty. "Good night, sweetie," she said, kissing his forehead. "Good night, Mom, I can't wait for tomorrow," he said, a smile still lingering on his face. As she walked out of his room, Emily leaned against the doorframe for a moment, her heart racing. Tomorrow could change everything, and as much as she felt the pull of fear, the thrill was stronger. With a deep breath, she opened her phone, her heart racing as she composed her reply to James. "Dinner sounds great. How about tomorrow at 6? As she hit send, a mix of excitement and fear coursed through her. There was no turning back now. Tomorrow would bring whatever it was meant to, and she was ready to embrace the adventure, wild child and all. Emily awoke the next morning to the soft light filtering through her hotel room window. The sun bathed the space in a golden hue, but her mind felt muddled, tangled in thoughts of James. The message she had sent the night before still buzzed in her mind. "Dinner sounds great. How about tomorrow at 6? She had been so bold, yet now a twinge of anxiety crept in. What was she thinking? A millionaire, a businessman attending a conference, would he even be interested in her? A single mother with a wild child? Well, Oliver's voice erupted from across the room, breaking her thoughts. "Can we go to the park again? Can we, please?" Emily chuckled, racking her brain for a way to wrangle her nerves. How about we grab some breakfast first? I promise we can go back to the park after. Yay, pancakes, he exclaimed, already darting toward the bathroom, his excitement palpable. As she sat in the brightly lit dining area, she watched Oliver bouncing in his seat, eagerly waiting for his order of pancakes. He chatted incessantly about the park, recounting every joyous moment from their previous day. Each detail, woven together with his infectious enthusiasm, made her heart swell. "Mom, can I invite James to the park?" he asked, a mischievous grin spreading across his face as he slathered syrup over his pancakes. Emily nearly choked on her coffee. "Oliver, sweetie, we were not inviting anyone. James might be busy with his conference. But he said he wanted to meet us." Oliver countered, his brows furrowing in confusion. "He'll think we don't want to see him if we don't ask." A knot twisted in Emily's stomach. Had they just met? Was she really ready to introduce this charming stranger into their small world? "That's complicated, buddy," she said gently, hoping to diffuse his enthusiasm. "Why, he's nice and fun." Oliver insisted, his innocence pulling at her heartstrings. "Because, darling, not everyone can just drop everything for a park play date," she explained, trying to sound calm despite her internal turmoil. "Let us just enjoy our time today." Oliver's shoulders slumped slightly, but he nodded. "Okay, Mom." As they finished breakfast, Emily couldn't shake the nagging uncertainty. What if she was missing out on something wonderful? But the idea of involving James in their everyday lives scared her. The park welcomed them with a vibrant energy, the sounds of laughter and playful shouts swirling around them. Oliver dashed off, his wild child spirit bursting forth as he joined other kids playing tag. Emily settled onto a bench, her heart swelling with pride. She checked her phone, half hoping for a message from James. Nothing. Just a reminder about his conference. "Maybe yes, busy," she muttered to herself, trying to dispel the flutter of disappointment that settled in her chest. As she watched Oliver, her thoughts drifted again to James. The way he had looked at her, that spark of chemistry that had ignited so unexpectedly, it made her question everything. Was she ready to open up to someone new? Could she trust him? Time slipped away, and since she noticed Oliver approaching, his cheeks flushed and his energy bubbling over. "Mom, can we get ice cream again?" "Sure, but let us make it a little healthier this time," she replied, ruffling his hair. "How about fruit instead?" "Fruit?" He scrunched his nose, clearly unimpressed. "That's not as fun as ice cream." "True, but it is good for us," she teased, nudging him lightly. "Let us share a fruit salad, and if you read good, maybe we can stop by the ice cream stand later." "Okay, how about strawberries?" he suggested, his eyes lighting up with a hint of mischief. "Strawberries it is," she laughed, feeling lighter as they picked out fruit from a nearby vendor. As they munched on their snack, Oliver suddenly piped up, "Mom, what if James doesn't like fruit, then he can come to the park?" Emily smiled at his reasoning, her heart warming. "Well, if he joins us, I am sure we can find something he likes. Maybe we can ask him what his favorite fruit is." Oliver's eyes shone with excitement. "Or we can tell him about the best ice cream place ever." Okay, let us focus on having fun today," she said, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear, trying to shake off the unease. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, Emily felt the familiar buzz of her phone. She quickly checked to find a message from James flashing across the screen. "Hey, Emily, ready for our dinner tonight? Any preferences?" A smile danced on her lips, but anxiety quickly followed. What would she say? She was overthinking everything, and that made her nervous. "Hi, James, I can wait. How about we meet at the Italian place near the park?" "Perfect choice. I'll see you at 6, he replied, and just like that, the anticipation began to build. The clock seemed to move too slowly as 6 o'clock approached. Emily dressed carefully, opting for a simple but elegant sundress that flattered her figure without being overly dramatic. The mirror reflected an image of a woman who was both excited and apprehensive. "Mom, you look beautiful," Oliver exclaimed, his hands placed on his hips as if he were a little judge. "Thank you, sweetheart. You cleaned up nicely too," she said, smoothing his shirt before they headed out the door. "I am going to impress James," Oliver declared, his small chest puffed out, making her chuckle. As they walked toward the restaurant, a mix of excitement and nerves bubbled within Emily. She felt like she was stepping onto a path she hadn't anticipated, and it thrilled her while simultaneously filling her with doubt. When they finally arrived, the Italian restaurant was bustling with laughter and chatter. The warmth of the ambience enveloped her, but her heart raced at the thought of seeing James again. Would he be the same charismatic man, or would the weight of his world dull the sparkle in his eyes? "Mom, over there!" Oliver shouted, his excitement palpable as he pointed to James, who was already seated at a table. James looked up at them, and his expression lit up the moment their eyes met. "Emily and Oliver, you made it." He stood, his tailored suit still immaculate, and the familiar warmth radiated from him. "We did. Are you ready for dinner?" Emily asked, her voice steadier than she felt. "Absolutely. I hope you are both hungry," he replied, giving Oliver a friendly wink. "I hear the pasta here is legendary." Oliver beamed, clearly pleased to be included in their conversation. "I love pasta. Can we get mac and cheese?" James chuckled, leaning forward slightly. "How about we get a big plate of spaghetti to share? We can make it a team effort." "Team effort?" Oliver echoed, his eyes sparkling with excitement. As they settled into their seats, the tension that had initially filled the air began to ease. With each conversation, Emily felt her worries dissolve. James was engaging and charming, effortlessly weaving stories about his travels and the mischief he and his brothers got into growing up. "What about you, Emily? What is a fun memory from your travels?" he asked, leaning in slightly, his gaze focused on her with genuine curiosity. Emily hesitated, searching for the right words. She had so many stories, but each felt tinged with the weight of her responsibilities. "Well, I once took Oliver to the beach, and he insisted on building the biggest sand castle," she began, a smile growing as she remembered. "He was so determined, but we ended up buried in sand, and he looked like a tiny sand monster." James laughed heartily. "A sand monster? Huh, sounds like a blast." "It was. I had to hose him down afterward," she said, warmth flooding through her as she realized how free she felt sharing these moments. "Mom needs a fun day at the beach again soon," Oliver chimed in, looking expectantly at James. "Will you come with us?" Emily felt her heart race again at Oliver's boldness, her mind racing. The thought of James joining their little family adventure felt both thrilling and terrifying. "I'd be honored," James replied, a playful glint in his eye. "But I might have to take a rain check if it means getting buried in sand." Their laughter echoed around them, creating a bubble of warmth that felt incredibly intimate. With every passing moment, Emily felt a connection building, intertwining their lives in a way that was both exhilarating and daunting. As dinner progressed, the conversation flowed seamlessly. They shared stories, laughs, and the ambience of the restaurant seemed to hum with a sense of possibility. Emily caught glimpses of James' true self, his passion for travel, his dedication to his work, and the way he genuinely cared for people. As they finished their meal, James leaned back, his eyes sparkling with mischief. "So, what's next for the adventurous wild child and his mom?" Emily contemplated her response, a mixture of excitement and trepidation bubbling within her. "Well, we could explore some more of this beautiful city, or we can plan a fun day at